Hello everybody, hello lovely people, and welcome back to the channel. A bit handsy today. Hello, you find me in a slightly different spot in the same room, and that is because I thought I would show this thing off. This is a gift that I recently got from my friends for my 31st, and that segues us smoothly into the topic of this video, which is our generation's fear of aging. And not just our generation, I think the generation below us as well, just young people in general being afraid of aging or just adulting, growing up. But I want to focus more on the aging part, not necessarily the adulting part, because I think becoming an adult is in itself quite scary. It's so common or prevalent to not want to age. Like, oh, I'm turning so-and-so age, I'm so old, turning 21. Girl, 21 is not old, your brain is not even fully formed yet, period. The frontal lobe is not quite there yet. So I really want to put this video out there just to, first of all, help people feel maybe a little bit better about the concept of growing older, what growing old really means, besides what we've been taught to fear. This fear of aging does not necessarily come from us. I feel like it's just a lot of societal pressures and whatever you see on social media that makes you scared of getting older, but actually it shouldn't be a thing. And also just wanting to help young people feel a bit better about aging. So I recently turned 31 this week. People still see me and think, oh, you don't look 30 or you don't look your age. And I usually take this as a compliment, right? Oh, you look young for your age, blah, blah, blah. That's great. It's mostly genetics and, I don't know, a little bit of skincare, a little bit of sunscreen, good sleep, good diet, good exercise, all of these things. But at the same time, is it really a compliment? Why are we glorifying looking young? I mean, obviously, it's a whole industry. Capitalism, yes! It's a whole industry trying to look young, trying to stay young, because youth means relevance. But actually, we're forgetting that getting older means wisdom. And I'm not saying that all old people are wise. I'm saying that the more experience you have, the more you know how to navigate life. And that's wisdom points on your stats, on your character points, you know? And it's about where you put your points into, and hopefully it's in wisdom. But let's get into this topic of fear of aging and why I think we should stop doing it and why it shouldn't even be a thing at all. Anyway, how are you doing? I hope you are well. I hope all is well in your world, and I hope that you're good. Let's get into the topic of this video. Your fear of aging is holding you back, and here is why. Number one, aging is a blessing. Not everyone gets to do it. We feel so invincible, right? Like when you're in your 20s, you have no sicknesses, you have no disabilities, so you feel like aging is more of a negative, like a byproduct of you being alive. But actually, it's not. Aging is a privilege. Aging is a blessing. Not everyone gets to do it. Some people, you know, don't even get to live past 25. Some kids die very young. And I'm not saying this to be morbid. Like, I'm not saying this to force you to feel guilty about all those people can't even survive past a certain age, and here I am, like, not feeling grateful. But I don't want you to feel guilty. I just want you to feel quite the opposite, really, that actually this is a privilege and I need to make the most of my age / make the most of my time here on earth. Do yourself a favor and think about it that way, instead of, oh, I'm aging, boo. Actually, I get to be alive. Your fear of aging encourages victimhood. it fosters this victim mentality that life is happening to you instead of, oh, I am living my life. Aging feels like such a passive thing. Like it's not even something that you have control of. You know, it feels like this is just something that is happening to you, but you're not aging, you're living. And that is a completely different mindset. I'm not trying to be one of those, mindset girlies on YouTube. I love them and, like they do great work. They do the Lord's work. But there really is a lot of truth in this mentality that we have that life is happening to us and therefore I am aging and therefore I can't do anything about it. Whereas if you just think, oh, I'm living life. Day by day I get to live. I get to be alive. It's a way more empowering feeling because you feel like you are in control. Like you are the one doing the living instead of life kind of just happening to you. I hope that seeing it that way helps you feel like you're regaining control of yourself and your life. If you think that life is just happening to you and you're aging away, like a drying plant, then it just encourages this sense of victimhood, like this sense of you can't do anything about it. But actually, you can do a lot. You can do a lot more than you think. You get to do a lot more than you think. So think about it that way. Number 3, this fear of aging really is just like a capitalist fear to just encourage us to buy anti-aging creams, get anti-aging procedures, Botox, fillers, etc., like just to stop us from looking like we're aging. And I find that really strange because my mum, who literally is in her mid-50s, looks younger than anyone who gets any procedure done. And I'm not trying to say getting anything done is bad. Again, that's personal preference. But what I'm trying to say is, if you don't need to buy into it, then why do you? If the reason for getting the procedure done is external, like, oh, I just want to fit into beauty standards, or I want people to think that I look young, or I want people to think that I look pretty, then I feel like there's something a little bit wrong with that, So just remember that if you fear aging, that this is something that capitalist consumer society has told us to do, has told us to fear, because it encourages us to buy more, to spend money on things that we don't need, etc., etc. Oh, the lighting just changed. That is very weird. The sun just went behind a cloud. I'm so sorry. Drastic lighting change. Number 4, why you shouldn't fear aging. I personally think that aging is beautiful. It means you gain a lot of wisdom, you gain a lot of experiences. When you're young, you don't really know what you're doing for the most part. But as you grow old, as the years go by, as time passes, you are challenged by life and you get to experience new things that you've never done before. And, some of these things may be difficult, that will test your resilience. But in overcoming those challenges, you gain confidence in yourself. You gain resilience. For example, you just got out of uni, you're feeling a little lost, and then somehow you make it work, somehow you find a job. It makes you feel proud of yourself. And this teaches you that, like, oh, I can actually do it. And this is how you build confidence. This is how you build self-esteem, is that you learn to rely on yourself, and then you become more resilient. Over time, you learn how to do hard things. And most of it is because you kind of have to. Sometimes you're just challenged by life to do things that may be difficult, but is actually good for you because you gain experience in the long run. So aging is beautiful. You gain wisdom points, you gain experience, and you learn how to navigate the world a little bit better every year with every challenge that you have. And lastly, to help you with this fear of aging, age is just a number. It is really what you do with your life that matters. And I'm not saying fill up your calendar goals, this year's goals, with anything and everything under the sun. What we will all look back on when we're older is just the memories that we've made, the experiences that we've had, the friends that we've built relationships helps with the time that we spent with other people. That's what matters the most. Like, what did we do in our lives that made a difference, that improved someone else's life? How did I make an impact in the world? How did I make someone else's day better doing something small? How did I live a meaningful life for myself? Whatever that looks like for you, or for me, whatever that looks like for anyone else. Your age is literally just a count of the number of years that you've been alive. It doesn't mean anything. There's so much pressure to be a certain way when you're 20, when you're 25, when you're 30. I get that there are kind of goalposts and milestones, and whatever that feels like for you, that's great. But as long as it comes from the inside, like, this is what you want for yourself, not what someone else or what society has told you to want or to have accomplished by a certain age. Even on YouTube, like, oh, make sure that you have this at the age of blah. Like, that's great and all, you know, having goals is really good, but just make sure that it comes from you, that this is like what you really want to do, and not because you've been told. As an example, for me, because I've just turned 31, and even when I turned 30, a lot of people have been telling me, oh, you need to start thinking about having kids. The later you leave it, the suckier it's gonna get to have children. Who even said I wanted children? Who even said I got married to have kids? If I want kids, it will be on my terms, and of course my husband's terms. It won't be because, oh, that's just what you do when you get married. That is a borrowed belief system, value system from more traditional, quote-unquote traditional families, from more traditional ways of thinking. Yeah, I mean, this is not the first time you've probably heard, like, oh, just leave women alone. But seriously, leave women alone. If people want to have kids, then, you know, have that conversation with them, like, oh, have you thought about having kids? Like, what are your thoughts on having kids? Don't just tell people, oh, you should be having kids, and then fear mongering. That doesn't work. People will have kids when they want to, if they want to. Feeling like you need to be married at a certain age, or feeling like, oh, this and that. I mean, if you have those goals, again, if these are your own goals, and this is really what you want for yourself, you know, deep in your heart, this is something that I want to do with my life by the time I'm this age, then definitely, you know, work towards it. But again, you know, life doesn't exactly work like that. Sometimes you'll get what you want, sometimes you don't. You just swing it. Just don't be so hard on yourself. Just live your life. Age is just a number. It's just a way for us to count literally how many years we've been alive on this earth, and to have birthdays, because birthdays are great. To celebrate you being alive, you know, to celebrate your loved ones for being alive. So that's my rant about this whole fear of aging thing. I seriously don't want to hear another one of those, oh, you're so old. Please, God, the next person that tells me that, I will literally... No, okay, I won't. But I just find it really, really annoying. Like, why are you subjecting me to this? What about the people who are 40, 50, 60? Yeah, and yes, I'm 31. And yeah, I just hate this whole narrative about being old sucks. Being young is way better. Is it really? When you're young, you're not making your own money. You're living under someone's house, under someone else's rules. You don't know what the fuck you're doing with your life. You're probably making a shit ton of mistakes and like stumbling over yourself. And, you know, you have no idea what you're doing. So once you level up a bit more in life, you literally counteract all of those things. You get to have a bit more financial freedom because, you know, if you're earning your own money and you live by yourself, you have a lot more financial freedom. You have a lot more freedom in general. You've kind of already tried a bunch of different things growing up and made a shit ton of mistakes growing up. And at this point, you should have learned from them. And you learn how to deal with people, you learn how to navigate yourself in different situations. And again, you're always learning. Like, that's the thing you need to kind of think about. That's what life is. It's a learning experience. It's a learning journey. Everything that you do, you can take something out of. But at this point, personally for me, in my 30s, I've learned so much that I feel like I can literally do most of anything. When you hit a certain age, you feel like, oh, I actually really know what I want. I'm comfortable in my own skin for the most part. I don't need to succumb to social pressure. I've made all of my mistakes in the past 10 years. I don't need to make them again. To be honest, being this age, being old and just growing up feels good. I feel like we need to talk about that a bit more. And you know what? Being young is great too. You don't have a lot of responsibility. You get to do whatever the fuck you want and make the mistakes and then hopefully learn from them as well. There's something beautiful and great about every life stage. And yeah, when you're young, definitely make the most of it, because you don't have as many responsibilities as you might do once you hit my age. Like, every life stage is beautiful. Not one of the other is worse or better. We might look back in the past and think about like nostalgic moments and think, oh yeah, that was a really nice time. Like, I miss doing that. Stay up until 2 to 3, 4 a.m. either out or, playing games at night. These are things that you might not be able to do as much when you get older. Or you might want to. Yeah, it depends on you. So yes, those are all the reasons why I think you shouldn't fear aging, that none of us should fear aging. We should really just be enjoying life as it happens, enjoying every year as it comes, making the most of the time that we have here on earth. Because what's worse than the fear of aging? The fear of dying. To me, that's worse. Just waking up and that's it. There's no more. Waking up to darkness, to me, is way worse than, aging. Because at least I'm still alive. So I hope you no longer feel the need to fear your aging process. Just make sure that you're living your life how you want it. And if not, then maybe make some changes towards it. Stop feeling like life is happening to you. You are not aging. You are literally living, breathing human on this earth, waking up every day, doing your thing, and then going to sleep, and then doing it all over again. And you get to do that. So yeah, that's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Please stop telling people, you're old. And let's just be a bit more grateful that we get to live another day. Just make the most of the days that we get to be here. Thanks for watching. You're not aging. You're alive. You get to be old. I'm not sure if being told, oh, you're aging so gracefully, or like, oh, I wish I could age as gracefully as you, is like 100% a compliment. It's not that I'm ungrateful that people say that. It's just that I don't want people to fear this whole aging thing. I don't like that word in general. Just, don't worry about it.